So federal agents have charged a white supremacist, in Wisconsin, with a series of hate crimes. They say Allis had violated the civil rights of several black people. They're saying to get them to move out of his neighborhood. Now, the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin has filed a criminal complaint against William McDonald for willfully injuring, intimidating, and interfering with another housing's rights because they say of their race, color, or national origin by force or threat of force. Now, the claim states McDonald is a resident of West Allis. It say left, white supremacist notes. It say on the windshield of individuals, vehicles, slashed some tires of his neighbors. It say wrote the N-word across a woman's apartment door, hoping to force them to relocate out their homes. Now, I want you to watch this short clip.
They leave the note pretty much in the windshield.
7 slashed tires, a broken window, and threatening notes.
The last note said, next time it'll be your windshield.
That's the harassment this West Allis couple has dealt with over the last few weeks.
But we don't get full nights of sleep anymore. Any slight thing we hear, we look outside. Anytime we get a feeling, we look outside.
The family moved to the area of 87th and Mitchell about a year ago. Now their own child doesn't stay with them out of fear. This after several notes of racist threats and vandalism to their car. Sunday, it happened again.
Another note saying get out of the neighborhood, telling me to go back to the north side pretty much. And it's pretty much threatening to put sand in my gas tank and stuff like that.
West Allis police are aware of the vandalism and threats, and a police report has been filed. While it's being investigated, the family isn't backing down.
We're pretty much the target right now, but we want to make for sure if anybody else moves here that's of our skin tone, black, brown, whoever it is, that they shouldn't have to go through this.
In the meantime, the two continue with sleepless nights. They have no idea who would do something so hateful.
It's just been an emotional toll, a physical toll,
a financial
toll. It's just been a heavy weight on our shoulders.
All victims live in a 1 mile radius of each in or around the apartment complex McDonald lived in. So the feds believe these violate the Civil Rights Act of 1968 and constitute a hate crime. Say he started terrorizing his neighbors March 7, 2021 when he slashed a woman's tires on her vehicle. Next day, he said the claim alleged the windshield was broken. They say on the windshield, McDonald left a note, on the restaurant stationery saying, better watch who the F you talk, ish to. You say you ugly fat, they say N-word and use the B-word. I know where you live. If I see you again, I'll slash her. You say effing throat. You say get the F back to the north side. You say where you belong. You said effing. You said N-word. It said this note was followed by another threatening note placed on her vehicle as parked outside the apartment complex on March 17, 2021, stating this was her last warning. He said, get the F out of my neighborhood. He said, before I slash her, he said, ish again. He quoted said again, no problem with black people, only problem with a ghetto punk use the N-word like you. I think that's interesting when they say that. They say, I ain't got no problem with black people, just those who are N-words. Well, we know with you white supremacists, they're synonymous. Now, they do view black people. Let me see. Jesse Lee Peterson is a black person to them. That's a good example. Jesse Lee Peterson is a black person. Candace Owens is a black person. All the rest of us that don't operate like that with the raccoon gene, we the N-words. I'll be on the N-word team all day long. I'm fine with it. Now, they say he also, targeted a Latino family. It's a parent of Puerto Rican and a child African American later that year also. It said they received on October 29, 2021 note stating that they were being watched. It said McDonald reportedly wrote, he said, keep speeding, driving like the dumb, disrespectful N-word you are. He said next time it'll be a windshield. He said the N-word, get the F back to the ghetto N-word north side, stay there. He said in the note saying, it said for the parents to take all her monkey friends and family. It said back to the north side of the city. It said he added, that's where you belong. It said he slashed the tires on their vehicle, also authorities claim. It said the end of February 2022, it said like the other 3 incidents, it said 3 additional victims, a couple, it said and a child that lives with them, it said were intimidated, it said with a note by having their tires slashed, and the letter said, get the F out of my neighborhood, N-word. And I said the first note left for that family was on February 4th, and on February 23rd, the couple's vehicle was vandalized, and McDonald broke, it said the driver's side window of the car. 5 days later, their tires were slashed, and the second note left, keep speeding in my neighborhood, N-word, next time it'll be your windshield, get it back to the north side piece of ish N-word. Yes, this dude, he was just being a straight terrorist. And said at that point, the FBI was called in. Agents set up video surveillance in and around the complex to catch whoever was sending the messages. And they said authorities say McDonald continued to menace the couple. On March 13th, the couple's tire was slashed again. And said a third note was found at the scene of the crime saying, you thought I was playing. Say, get the F back to the N-word north side where you belong. He said, before I put sand in your gas tank. And said a couple took their concerns to the press and shared that the FBI had taken up the case. I mean, now, why did it take that long? Black people wouldn't get away with doing that to one white person. Now, this dude, he'd get away with doing it to several people. Several. You know what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm talking about. He gets to do all this to people. And it takes an act of Congress to get him arrested. Understand what I'm saying? Now, they said that this dude, finally, they say he was arrested. He was raided. He was charged definitely, with hate crimes. But he should have been, that should have happened a long time ago. Why is it that he got to do it to multiple families? Why? Why local law enforcement really didn't do nothing about it until the FBI came in and do something about it? This man, he was a freaking dangerous white supremacist terrorist. He was dangerous. And nothing was done. But if a brother and sister would have took care of that issue with his Second Amendment rights, then they would be trying to say something. Now, continuing, they said that he didn't stop his terrorism spree. He shifted his attention to another African-American family, a mother and her two sons, who moved into the apartment building in April 22. She found, after moving to the place, the word N-word written in black pen on the front door, April the 5th. He said, also said that this white supremacist slipped a note under her door saying, "Get the F out, N-words, you're not wanted here." 2 days later, the claim states he sent another note that says, "Stay here, see what the F happens." He said N-word. Now, victim number seven people, says the person had to be someone inside the complex because the elaborate security system that requires a key to gain entrance. As a result of the threats, the black woman's two African-American sons are no longer living. Of course, we know that, with her out of fear of their safety. Now, April 19th, the FBI executed a search warrant as at McDonald's home in connection to the hate crimes. He did not have anything to do with the harassment, but agents report they found handwritten notes in his home that said, "Drive like a stupid ghetto effing N-word." It say, "In my neighborhood, this what happens." He said, "B-word." You say, "I watch all you effing monkeys around here." That's what they found him in his house. It said, like so many other notes he wrote, "Give the F back to the north side ghetto where you belong." I said, the evidence, it say, ascertained during the investigation revealed in November 2021 and December 2021, Williams reported the people had been harassed to the police department over 26 times, complaining about their reckless driving, a subject of multiple notes that he allegedly left. So this dude was not only harassing people, terrorizing people, he calling the police on people too. You know what I'm saying? And the local police did nothing. That's my issue. 7 victims, they didn't do nothing at all. It took to the federal government to do something about it. Black people don't have no protection, and this is why black people need a protected status in America, right there, because of that. But yet your Democrat Party went set up here and gave the Asian community federal protection because it happened to them in a short period of time. But black people suffering this stuff all the time, been suffering this for hundreds of years and still suffering this, and no hate crime protection for black people. I'm talking about as a protected status. It took the FBI to come in, and when the local police department didn't do anything, they didn't do crap because he was allowed to terrorize those poor people. This is why I say we need 1,000-year separation from that. We need 1,000-year separation so we can heal, so we can deal with our trauma and everything else that they inflicted. And no matter what nobody say, you cannot have peace in a land ran by the white supremacists. Not true peace. You can't attain that because they not even peaceful with themselves. So how can they be peaceful with me and you? That's just something they just not going to do. But okay, you know, he in jail, fine. But the problem is, it's not just him. He's one of many, is the problem. But I hope the people also sue that police department, because that police department is complicit, because they could have done something about him a long time ago, and they did not. But y'all let me know in the comments y'all think about, you know, this white supremacist just being allowed to terrorize black people. Just being allowed to do it for a long time before he was finally stopped.